Good morning, cadets. In the previous session, we learned about what is equipotential surface. Equipotential surface is that surface at which at all the points the potential is same. The locus of all those points having same potential gives us equipotential surface. Okay. Today we will learn very interesting relation between electric field and potential. Electric field and potential. Consider two equipotential surfaces. I have drawn two plane surfaces, one at the bottom, another one at the top. This is a equipotential surface having potential V. Let us say it is having potential V. The other one equipotential surface, another equipotential surface with little less value of potential, V minus dV, V minus dV, slightly less, closely lying two potential surfaces. Now, the electric field will be always perpendicular, and the electric field, if you draw, this is perpendicular to both the planes. I have taken planes, right, rectangular planes. Now, let us consider point B on the first equipotential surface, point B on the first equipotential surface, and point A on the second equipotential surface, through which the electric field direction is shown. It is perpendicular and vertically upwards, and you can see electric field is in such a direction wherein potential is dropping, potential is decreasing. Now, we want to calculate the relation between electric field and potential difference. Okay. Now, let us calculate work done in bringing a unit charge from A to B. How much is the work done in bringing a unit charge from point A to point B from a second equipotential surface to the first equipotential surface? And let us take the distance between them as dl. Let dl be the distance between these two surfaces, right? Then work done, how do you calculate? Force into displacement. So, force per unit charge is electric field. So, electric field is in this direction, so we have to apply force in the opposite direction. We have to calculate what is the work done per unit charge in moving a test charge from A to B against the electric field. Work done per unit charge in bringing from point A to B through displacement dl, through displacement dl. So, this I will call it as work done A to B, work done A to B. This is equal to force into displacement, right? Now, force per unit charge, it is work done per unit charge. Therefore, force per unit charge becomes force per unit charge dot displacement. The displacement here is dl. The force per unit charge is exerted in this direction, and displacement is, you can see, in this direction. Now, this is equal to E dot dl, E dot dl, E dot dl. Now, look at this. dl is from A to B, and the electric field is directed from B to A, right? So, work done will be negative because the angle between electric field and the displacement dl is 180 degree. So, if you calculate this, it becomes E dl cos 180. E dl cos 180, work done against the electric field. E dl cos 180, because electric field is in this direction and displacement is from A to B. So, they are exactly in the opposite direction. So, the angle between them is 180 degree. So, 180 degree, cos 180 is minus 1, cos 0 is 1, cos 180 is minus 1. Therefore, work done per unit charge becomes E dl with negative sign, minus E dl. Cos 180 is minus 1, therefore, it becomes minus E dl. So, this is work done per unit charge. So, I have to write it like this, work done per unit charge, right. So, call this equation number 1. Now, work done per unit charge moving from A to B also gives you potential difference between B and A. That is also the definition of potential difference. Work done per unit charge is potential difference. Work done per unit charge, we also know that is also potential difference between B and A. So, it becomes VB minus VA. So, let us take this VB minus VA. Yes, you can calculate from this. I have assumed the potential of this potential surface to be V at all the points. So, B is at potential V and A is at potential V minus dV. So, at all the points the potential on this surface is V minus dV. Let us substitute this. This becomes V minus dV. V minus dV. V cancels. So, you are left with, therefore, work done per unit charge becomes minus of minus plus. So, it becomes dV, minus of minus cancels. So, dV. So, you can call this equation 2. From 1 and 2, you will get a simple relation between electric field and potential difference. So, from 1 and 2, we can write here E dl minus E dl is equal to dV, where dl is the small distance between these two potential surfaces and dV is the potential difference between these two surfaces. Therefore, E is equal to minus dV by dl. E is equal to minus dV by dl. So, you can write this as magnitude of electric field is equal to magnitude of this. So, electric field vector is equal to minus dV by dl. So, we can say that magnitude of electric field is the change of potential per unit displacement normal to the equipotential surface, or electric field is also defined as negative potential gradient. And one more important thing, as I have stated, electric field will be always directed in such a way that wherein potential drops. The potential drops steepest. The electric field is in that direction along which the potential decreases steepest. From one point to another point, if you go perpendicular, there is a drop in potential, there is a decrease in potential. In that direction, the electric field is pointing, the electric field is directed. That is how we conclude from this equation. Electric field is negative potential gradient. The negative potential gradient, it means decrease in potential per unit displacement. Decrease in potential per unit displacement. You see, minus dV by dl means what? Decrease in potential per unit displacement is called as electric field. Okay. Now we can write the definition. First thing, electric field E is in such a direction in which potential decreases steepest in the sense potential decreases normal, perpendicular. From one point to another point, if you go normally, perpendicularly, there is a decrease in potential. That is the meaning of steepest. Second thing is the magnitude of electric field. Magnitude of electric field is denoted by modulus of E. Magnitude of electric field is modulus of E. Modulus of E is magnitude of electric field is the change in, means it will become positive. If you take a modulus, it will become dV by dl. So finally we can write magnitude of electric field as plus dV by dl. Plus dV by dl. So the magnitude of electric field is the change in potential, that is potential difference, change in potential per unit displacement dl, per unit displacement normal to the equipotential surface, normal to the equipotential surface. Therefore, we have followed that whenever there is a particular direction of electric field, whether it is radial electric field or any type of electric field is always directed in such a way that from point to point, if you go normal, there is a drop in potential, there is a decrease in potential. That is the meaning of minus dV by dl. Okay. This is the relation between electric field and potential difference. So it is also in simple term, electric field is defined as negative potential gradient, rate of change of potential with respect to displacement, with respect to length, normal to equipotential surface. Okay. Now let us study one more important concept, that is potential energy of a system of charges. Now we are going to calculate potential energy of a system of charges. Consider that we are going to collect 3 point charges. Let us say 3 positive charges in this space where there is no field. Field is free space. It is a field free space. We would like to assemble 3 point charges in a particular order at a particular distance of separation between them. So potential energy of that system of, let us say, 3 point charges is the amount of work done in assembling these charges at their fixed locations. How much is the work required to be done in assembling these 3 point charges in this space is called as potential energy of system of charges. Okay. So let us say that we are bringing first, let us say that we are bringing 3 charges Q1, Q2, Q3. All the 3 charges are positive charges, positive point charges. So first I am bringing Q1 point charge from infinity to this particular point. Suppose this is the Q1 point charge which is brought from infinity to this point charge at some distance, say R1 position vector from the origin. Let us say that origin is here and its position vector from here to here is R1, right. how much is the work required to be done? When we are bringing Q1 charge, there is nothing here. There is no field here. There is no other source. There is no other configuration of charges. So, how much is the work done in bringing from infinity to this point? That is stored in it in the form of potential energy. So, potential energy of bringing this charge Q1 from infinity to this point at position vector R1 is 0, because presently there is no other source, there is no other field. So, we are bringing charge Q1 in field free space. So, work done in bringing the charge Q1 from infinity to this point at position vector R1 is 0. Let us say that this is the origin and we have placed it at a position vector R1 from the origin. Origin is a coordinate system, reference coordinate system. Nothing is there at the origin. Don't think something is there. Nothing is there at the origin. Origin is the frame of reference that we are choosing to just find the location and find the position vector of the charge particles, right? So, first I will write work done in bringing charge Q1 from infinity. Work done in bringing charge Q1 from infinity at this position vector R1 is 0, because there is no other source of charge. Now, this Q1 after placing here at this position, Q1 develops its own electric field and it will have its own electric potential. Now, suppose this is the point P, where I would like to bring charge Q2 from infinity, another second charge Q2 from infinity, so that the position vector of this point is R2. Just for our reference, the position vector is at R2. We want to bring Q2 from infinity and we are placing here. Then we have to do work here. There is work needed to be done in bringing the charge Q2 and placing here at point P, because Q1 has developed its own field and its own potential. Therefore, work has to be done. So, in order to calculate that work, we should know what is the distance between the position P and the charge Q1. So, let us take this position as R1P. So, that I will calculate. Work done in bringing Q2 from infinity to place or to keep at R1P, at R1P from charge Q1. W infinity to P I will write, W infinity to P. This is, so I am writing the source here is Q1 and the charge that we are bringing here is Q2. Q2 is the charge which is brought from infinity to the point P. So, it should be Q2 times the potential that is developed here. The potential that is developed here is V at point P, V1P, right. So, V1P we know, that is Q1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. So, it finally becomes Q2 Q1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught R1P. So, this becomes the work done in bringing charge Q2 from infinity to the point Q1 against the force of repulsion between the charges Q1 and Q2. Work has to be done in bringing point charge Q2 from infinity to place over here against the force of repulsion between Q1 and Q2. Because both are positive charges, there is a force of repulsion. So, this will be stored in this system of two charges as potential energy of two charges, which is positive. So, this I am writing as U12 potential energy or electrostatic potential energy. Electrostatic potential energy of two charges, right. Now, I am going to bring in this field, now it has developed a field due to two like charges Q1 and Q2, which are fixed at positions with position vector R1 and position vector R2. So, now it has developed a combined potential and a combined electric field, right. In this combined field, I am going to bring the charge from infinity. I am going to bring Q3 charge from infinity, I am going to place here. So, this is Q3 charge. So, how much work has to be done? So, let us say that this Q3 charge is at position vector R3. Q3 charge is at position vector R3 from the origin. R3 from the origin. How much is the work required to be done? Then you have to look into the interaction between Q3 and Q1 and Q3 and Q2. So, we should know what is the distance between Q1 and Q3 and what is distance between Q3 and Q2, right. So, let us take this distance as R23 and let us take this distance as R13. So, instead of R1P, let us take this one as R12, that is easy to understand, R12. Distance of third from second charge is R23. Distance of second charge from Q1 is R12. Distance of third charge from Q1 is R13, right. So, we must know these distances so that I can calculate what is the work done in bringing charge Q2 from infinity to place at position vector R3. So, let us take this distance R12, easy to follow. So, work done in bringing plus Q3 from infinity to keep or to place at R13 distance from Q1, right. Similarly, R23 distance from Q2. So, this I will write W infinity, I will write here infinity to 3, W infinity to second position, first position, second position, third position, that is how it is easy to follow, right. W infinity to 3 is equal to charge Q3 into the potential developed by these two charges. So, I will write it as V12 potential developed by these two charges. So, it is better, there will be no confusion. The potential due to first charge, let us take it as V1 only. Potential developed by first charge at this point due to first charge is V1. The potential developed due to these two charges Q1 and Q2 at this point, let me write it as V12. So, Q3 multiplied by V12, if you calculate this, this gives us work done in assembling or work done in placing Q3 from infinity to this particular point, right? So what is V12? V12 at this particular point. So I will just rub this and we can write what is V12. So first I will write what is V12. V12 at this point is given by Q1 by 4 pi epsilon naught R13. Potential at this point due to charge Q1 is Q1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. The distance of that point is R13 plus Q2 by, due to this charge now Q2 by 4 pi epsilon naught R23. So if you take out 4 pi epsilon naught, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, so this becomes Q1 upon R13 plus Q2 upon R23. So this is potential at this point, so that we can keep Q3 at that point. Therefore, third I am writing here, therefore third point W infinity to 3. What is the work done in bringing charge Q3 from infinity to place at position vector R3? So this becomes Q3 times V12, Q3 times V12, V12 is given by this. So this becomes Q3 times into 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 by R13 plus Q2 by R23. So this becomes, take this inside, so it becomes 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught being constant, keep it outside, so it becomes Q1 Q3 by R13 plus Q2 Q3 by R23. This is the work done in bringing third charge from infinity to place in the potential developed by charges Q1 and Q2. Now finally, potential energy of system of these three charges I have to calculate. So potential energy of system of these three charges in assembling at these three positions is sum of all these three, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So first one is 0, second one is U12, that is Q1, Q2 upon 4 pi epsilon naught R12, and third one is this, right? Therefore, work done in assembling three-point charges Q1, Q2 and Q3, total work done is equal to W infinity Q1 plus W infinity, so I will write W infinity to 1, W infinity to 1, that is better, W infinity to 2, this one, plus W infinity to 3. So if you add this, the first one is 0, second one is, you can see, U12, Q1, Q2 upon 4 pi epsilon naught R12 plus this, plus this, you can just write here, Q2, Q3 upon 4 pi epsilon naught R13 plus this is Q1 Q2, this is Q1 Q3, and here it is Q2 Q3 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R23. So this is the final potential energy. Therefore, in total I am going to write U12. So this is point P. Okay, let us not get confused. Potential energy of assembling these 3 charges, total potential energy U123 is equal to, you can just summarize here, 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 upon R12 plus Q1 Q3 upon R13 plus Q1 Q2 Q3 upon R23. So this becomes potential energy. Total potential energy of system of 3 charges. So if you include one more charge, suppose Q4 you are bringing somewhere here at position vector R4, then it will have additional terms. So how do you remember? When only 2 charges are there, you will have only one term, Q1 Q2 upon R12. If there is additional charge, third one, then there will be interaction between Q1 Q2, Q1 Q3 and Q2 Q3, right? So that's how one can determine the number of terms. If 4 are there, 1, 2, 3, 4 are there, then how do you write? Interaction due to Q1 Q2, that is, interaction due to Q1 Q2, I will write better in a simple 1 2 1 3 1 4. This is from charge 1 to 2, 1 to 3, let us say this is 4th one, Q4, 1 to 4, you have to draw this one, R14. So that is 3 terms. Then next, plus 2 to 3, 2 to 4. 2 3 2 4. You must know what is the distance between them. 2 3 2 4, that is R24. Now third charge is also left. So then 3 4. So last interaction is 3 4. So these are the number of interactions. Accordingly, you will have 1 2 3 4 5 6 terms. You will be having 6 terms. Accordingly, you will be having 6 terms if there is a system of 4 charges. So if you remember this order, then you will be able to write the total potential energy of system of n number of charges. So remember, here the work is done against a conservative force, that is a force of repulsion, electrostatic force of interaction. So work done is path independent. It depends only on the final position, from initial to final position, and it is not depending on the path that is chosen. Whatever the way the work is done, it depends only on final and initial position. So it is path independent. This is how we conclude potential energy of system of charges. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.